Hey guys, Aaron Cybertron Zhang here, and today I'm back with another episode of Road to Ranked, where I climb the online series 9 ladder and provide live commentary as I go. I think we actually played this player a couple of days ago, where I got really lucky with the Life 4 Gastrodon, where I like max quaked into the Stakataka. So Trick Room is like a nightmare matchup for this team. And if they want to get Trick Room up, I don't want Fake Outs. Oh, but we have Ally Switch on Dragapult. So if they lead with Liepard Stakataka, I can Ally Switch turn 1. Okay. What if they don't? What if they just go Hat Indeedee? Well, we could flinch them. That's basically it. I kind of want to go all in with Dragapult Spec. This is like a really bad matchup. So, for those that didn't see the last episode, the team we're using features a lot of fun stuff like Lycanroc and Cobalion, multiple beat-up users as well. I don't know. Does my opponent go Hat Indeedee? The thing is, Hat Indeedee is super weak to Lycanroc Tyranitar, so I want to go Dragapult Spectre and go for the Ally Switch stuff. Okay, in the back, I'm down for T-Tar and Lycanroc. But basically, I feel like this game will be decided on the first 2 turns. If they get Trick Room up, they win the game. If I can somehow deny Trick Room via the Ally Switch shenanigans with Dragapult. And the logic there is if they go with Liepard plus Stakataka. Does that even work? I'm just thinking of... Because when we were running Copycat, it was Copycat Riolu. And I tried to copycat my Max Guard, but then Ally Switch took place first. Alright, they go Liepard Hatterene. Well, I was hoping to see Stakataka, so it's not amazing. But at the same time, Spectre should scare away Hatterene here, right? And they're going to be Focus Sash on Liepard. So I'm down to just go for Ally Switch here. Max and Phantasm into Hatterene. If Hatterene goes for Max Guard, that's great. No problem, we can just KO it next turn. I guess the only question is whether or not Life or Phantasm actually one-shots Max Hatterene. It might not. But if Trick Room doesn't go up in this game, we're in great shape, right? Because we have Stakataka and the... what's it called? The... Lycanroc, that's what it is, in the back, so yeah. Either way, we rushed a little bit into today's episode, so thank you so much as always for watching Road to Ranked, and thank you to Aldrich Jan for the team. Check out details for the team in the description below. There's a rental and a pace. Check out the last episode if you haven't seen it already. And question of the day, with the Lycanroc on the team having Endeavor, I want to know what is one move you wish more Pokemon got, just in general. I don't know what my best answer to this would be. Like, more redirection users certainly is interesting, but I don't know if that's, like, the most competitive. So, I guess I would go with that, but I feel like part of the thing about being a VGC player is that there are a lot of moves out there that I just, like, don't know anything about, quite frankly. So, I bet you all will have better answers than me for this one. Okay, either way, it's going to be Liepard plus Hat. I'm expecting Max Guard, so let's see. Okay. There's Max Guard. Cool. Alright. There's the Copycat. They're gonna copy Ally Switch. Okay, great. I only learned the strategy from when someone used it against us just a couple of days ago. So this is, once again, how you can learn from your losses and adapt them for the future. Cool, so that brings Liepard down to Sash. This next turn is interesting. Like, what do you want to do if you're my opponent next turn? Because you could actually just Copycat again to Copycat the Ally Switch. I almost just want to Max Guard here. There's 2 things. Well, you're not going to KO Spectre unless you go Fake Tears plus G-Max Smite, right? What I don't want is for them to smite into the Dragapult slot, and then confuse Spectre. Because right now we have a free attack with Spectre, basically. Oh wait, Dragapult's faster, right? Than Spectre here? Yeah. So I can just Phantasm and Breaking Swipe. I got that in a little bit close, but... Oh! That's interesting. Okay, so they switch out Hatterene into Stakataka. Yeah, that's fine. I think we should just... This is what I meant, right? Like, I think the game gets decided within 2 turns because, like, turn 1 is just so pivotal. Like, maybe I should have Max Quake instead. No, I like Phantasmine there. Like, it still does so much damage in a Stakataka. It gets a defense drop as well, and that sets up for the Tyranitar and the Lycanroc that we have in the back. Oh, that just one-shots too. Yeah. So, this is a good example of how sometimes you can find very creative ways to potentially win games. And I feel like even when I was using the copycat stuff with Riolu just a couple of days ago, like, I definitely didn't play it perfectly. One thing to note about copycat is that, like, there are some moves that you can use to force your opponent to copy that instead of the max guard. So ally switch is one example. Yeah, and like, this is once again the downside of using hard Trick Room. It's just like you're super reliant on getting Trick Room up, right? So if your opponent denies it, it's very difficult to win the game. So yeah, we can just Phantasm in a Hatterene here and Breaking Swipe. Not really much more at this point with T-Tar and Lycanroc in the back. So yeah, with a matchup like this, it's basically like, yeah, whoever reads, I think, the first turn, really the first turn, honestly, correctly, ends up getting a major advantage. But I figured there was really no counterplay to my play on turn 1, honestly. Like, the best you could do is maybe Fake Tears and a max move, but even then, like, yeah, you'd have to Fake Tears into the Dragapult slot covering for the ally switch, right? So, yeah, if you're looking for an answer around Copycat plus Trick Room, that is it. And once again, I only learned that because we lost to it a couple of days ago in that really intense game. Where we were using Riolu and they had ally switch on Porygon-Z, I think. So yeah, this is why I always say, like, you know, it's great to just like learn from every game that you play, and losses can often be even more valuable than wins. Because that loss the other day, I was like, wow, I thought we had it sealed up. I thought I'd get Trick Room up again. I thought I'd be in perfect shape, but then my opponent revealed that ally switch tech. So yeah, you don't see that being applied very often, but certainly was a good use case there. Next team here, Mamo, Galarian-Moltres, Cinderace. Reminds me of one of those ranked number 1 teams we used a couple of months ago back in Series 7. So, they don't have great speed control. It's mainly just Max Airstream from Cinderace and Moltres, and then Electro Web from Regieleki. So, I feel like we can, you know, pretty easily get Tailwind up. Now, Incineroar as a lead seems possible. Could see Instant Cinderace, for example. Instant Cinderace would be kind of a problem. Although I suppose I could just go like Whimsicott Spectre, Helping Hand Max Quake. Because this is max speed, right? Oh, it's not max speed. 182. I think that's still speed Cinderace, though. I don't know. I really want to play with Cobalion here, quite frankly. But if they lead Instant plus Cinderace, that's really bad for Cobalion. Alternatively, I'm thinking about Tyranitar plus Lycanroc lead. Okay, Spectre is probably, like, quote-unquote the correct option here. But I'm honestly really down for T-Tar Lycanroc, because they don't have great weather control. And then Cobalion plus... Do I want Dragapult or Whimsicott? I'll go with Whimsicott, I think. Because this gives me Tailwind as well. Yeah. Like, Galarian-Moltres, yeah, scares away Spectre a little bit here. But, I don't know, I think Whimsicott Spectre is pretty viable, especially because I don't really see my opponent leading Moltres, especially into a team with T-Tar, Lycanroc, and Cobalion. But hey, if they, you know, read too hard into it and actually lead Galarian-Moltres, that'd be really good for us. Regieleki plus Cinderace. Okay, that makes sense. I'm fine with that. Am I fine with that, actually? T-Tar just faints, gets one shot. Honestly, we could maybe max the Lycanroc in this game. Wait, how fast are we relative to Regieleki? We outspeed, right? Understand? Yeah. Interesting. They don't have a rock switch in. Yeah, I actually think... It's funny, yesterday I was like, you know, we're probably not going to max Lycanroc. We ended up maxing Lycanroc in one of the games. They just don't have a switch in into this. So I'm down to just go for it. Like, if they just max Cinderace and we just Rockfall into it, great. If they switch out, well, there's nothing that can conceivably switch in. So this is why, like, type synergy on a team is really important, right? If you typically want switch-ins into basically every single type that exists in the game. Just because if not, put you in a really awkward spot. I guess my fear is if Max Rockfall doesn't one-shot here. But the hope is, I don't know, they max Cinderace, we just knock out the Cinderace. Although I don't know if a Max Rockfall would one-shot Cinderace. Cinderace isn't exactly the bulkiest though, and this is Dynamax Lycanroc we're talking about. Either way, always fun to max Pokemon you don't really expect to fully max. Ooh, that's a really nice play. So they go for Sucker Punch. Onto Lycanroc. Okay, nicely done. I mean, that's still okay though. I essentially pick up 2 KOs, right? I don't think Alecki can take a single target Rock Slide. Yeah, like, honestly don't mind that too much. Let's see what Alecki goes for. I'm expecting maybe just a T-Bolt. Maybe a Volt Switch. Alright, they go for Electro Web. That's fine, because I still outspeed you. Hilariously enough, if we didn't Dynamax, we would have had exactly like 1 HP. Or just a little bit more. Rock Slide, yeah, okay. I mean, I'll take that, although, like, it would have been better if I didn't max Lycanroc, because then I would have just picked up a double knockout with Rock Slide, and I would have conserved my Dynamax, and I would have been able to Endeavor. Like, it feels like if I did max, I actually would have just won the game outright, but I feel like it's fine to go for the play I did there, just because, like, it covers for everything, really. They bring in Fini, that's fine, and Moltres. Okay, great. Fini, Moltres. They got a speed drop on both of these. Now, I have max Strike, which is really interesting. You probably have to max the Fini, right? Like, I would protect Moltres and maybe max Geyser here. So I'm down to just switch out into Whimsicott and max guard this turn. Because we already have such a huge advantage after turn 1, right? We picked up a double KO. Then I get to see who Dynamaxes, and then in the subsequent turn I can just go for Tail. I mean, yeah, it really feels like you have to max Fini here. I'll give my opponent shoes, I would probably max guard the Moltres. Protect Moltres and then max Geyser into Lycanroc. So if they go for that, the game's just over, right? Because I can just Helping Hand max Rockfall next turn. Although I shouldn't say it's over because they could still win off a 1/3 chance of double protecting on Moltres. But first of all, let's see if they protect on Moltres. Maybe not. Like, maybe they nasty plot because they think they're too far behind in the game, which would be a very good play. Okay, yeah, perfect. Yep, so this is played out pretty much exactly how I've wanted it to. And a Geyser into Protect. Alright, doesn't get any better than that. Perfect. So the only question here is this next turn. Do I even need Helping Hand? Helping Hand actually is valuable because it does, even if Moltres goes for Protect, you still take a lot of damage through Protect. And then, yeah, maybe you knock out Lycanroc, but then I can just bring in Tyranitar next turn. And then Cobalion in the late game is looking pretty good as well. Yeah, like, my opponent not having any Rock switch-ins just makes it a pretty good matchup for Lycanroc. Plus, they didn't lead like Mamoswine, nor did they bring the Intimidate. So, I'm willing to just go for the Helping Hand and the Rockfall here, just because I think my opponent's only chance of winning is going for a double Protect, and even if they get it, we should do enough damage where I would think maybe even Dazzling Gleam can finish off Moltres. But they don't even offer the double. Okay, great. We'll take those. Now my question is whether or not Max Geyser even KOs Lycanroc from this range, but nice job, Lycanroc. Like, this is a good example of a game where, yeah, you should stay flexible because, you know, we always just hard commit to Dynamaxing Spectrier or Cobalion, like, and Lycanroc faints, but that's fine. Yeah, if we commit to only Dynamaxing those, like, it limits our options a little bit, right? Lycanroc and T-Tar are actually viable max options depending on the kind of situation that you're in. So, and the main thing here was that my opponent just, like, didn't have any Rock switch-ins and then led in a way... because the main thing I wanted to cover for was basically max Cinderace, right? If Cinderace maxes on turn 1 and we don't max with Lycanroc, we actually fall behind very quickly because they could have possibly gone for a fighting type attack into Tyranitar, like a max Knuckle, or even just a high jump kick. Or I guess if they're maxing, it'd be max Knuckle. Or max Steel Spike, actually. And if that happens in Tyranitar, like, if you just KO Tyranitar before it gets the move, the momentum completely swings, right? So I was like, okay, by maxing Lycanroc, at least even if you max Cinderace and you survive, I do enough damage where I'll 2-hit KO you, and I'll outspeed you the next turn. Although I guess with Electro Web, I'm curious if Cinderace would have outsped Lycanroc at -1 speed in the sand. I don't think so, but I'm not 100% sure. Okay, next turn here. We have Cobalion in the back. I'm down to just Dazzling for the smallest amount of chip and Rock Slide. Like, there's no way Fini beats Cobalion at this point, especially when Whimsicott can just go for a beat up onto it. And yes, beat up is going to only hit twice rather than 4 times, but that's all we need, really. You can see how tanky Fini is, though, right? That was like a choice band Sego target Rock Slide and only did like 30% to Dynamax Fini. Oh, Tyranitar even survives that. That's quite nice. Okay, sweet. So what do we want to do in this position? I think probably go for a... I mean, there's so much we can do. Just Dazzle plus Rock Slide probably just wins the game alone. But... do we need a Tailwind? No, I think we don't even need a Tailwind here, because the Cobalion in the back should always outspeed. They protect, which is fine. I mean, you get a little bit more recovery that way. But you're like, I think like they're also stalling out their rain turns, and with Assault Vest Cobalion in the back, this game is basically wrapped up. So yeah, today's games have definitely been interesting because like we've won in kind of like weird ways. Like not, and with this team, you know, typically you want to like the game plan is, hey, just overwhelm your opponent with offense, and I guess that's actually still what happened in this second game. Yeah, I mean, there's really no way Fini can win this. Especially because Cobalion just comes in and just clicks Iron Head. Rock Slide here should also just KO if it hits, I think. Yeah, nice job, Tyranitar. Well done. Alright, cool. So that was pretty smooth, and I think ultimately my opponent not having a single Rock Resist or Immune and not bringing Incineroar, like they actually left the two Pokemon that probably gave us the most trouble on the bench in Incineroar and Mamoswine. So it's very good that like we didn't see either of those, right? Because I think if either of those had come out, the Intimidate initial, like if you had Intimidate immediately, then I'd be a little bit more hesitant to just Dynamax Lycanroc. But because they didn't, put us in a really advantageous position. So let's get into the next match here. Another Mamoswine. Okay, there's also a Grimmsnarl here, which is pretty scary, but I feel like Cobalion's really good here. Like, I think this might just be a Dragapult plus Cobalion game, because it's like, yes, you can get your screens up, but I can still beat up, and Cobalion still does a lot of damage across the board. Now, I can't deny screens from Grimmsnarl, right? So it's gonna get at least one of them up. Who do I want in the back? Like, I kind of want to go Tyranitar Lycanroc. Spectre would be valuable just for a single Shadow Ball. I don't think that's good enough here. You could make a good argument for Whimsicott over T-Tar. T-Tar's pretty weak given the Mamo, Urshifu, and Rillaboom. But it does enable Lycanroc, so I'll go with it. I don't think we really need Tailwind in this game because my opponent's team is like mid-tier speed, right? I guess one thing to watch out for here, and one thing to watch out for in general if you're using an Assault Vest Pokemon is Scary Face. Because part of the thing of using an Assault Vest Pokemon is typically your goal is to survive your 3 turns of Dynamax, and with an AV, you know, the hope is, oh, you're bulky enough where you don't even have to go for max guards. Well, you can't max guard, right? So the hope is that you can just survive. But when you add speed control to the mix, if your opponent drops your speed, like it is Mamogrim. Okay, this turn one's going to be very interesting. Because I could obviously just go for beat up Steel Spike, but I almost want to go for Will-O-Wisp and Steel Spike. Mainly because I'm worried about Scary Face Grimmsnarl into Max Quake on Cobalion. I almost want to actually just go for Will-O-Wisp on a Mamoswine and then switch Cobalion out. Because Cobalion is so good into my opponent's team that I think we can maybe play towards it in the late game. So I'm actually pretty willing to switch into Lycanroc here, I think. Because I don't think you're ever going to Hailstorm Cobalion, so if you bring us down to our Sash, that's actually great, right? Because then I can just go for Endeavor the next turn. Okay, they're going to max Mamo, yeah, that's fine. I mean, most Mamoswines aren't Lumberry, so if we connect Will-O-Wisp on turn 1, I think we're in really good shape, regardless of what Mamoswine or Grimmsnarl will do. And this is what I'm aiming for, right? I think my opponent's 2 main answers into Cobalion are Mamoswine and Rotom-H, so my goal is to get rid of their Dynamax, bring out Cobalion, and then try to sweep with Cobalion. Oh, I was talking about Scary Face, but they have T-Wave, and now they can double up on Dragapult. Oh, but they Quaked! Okay, sweet. That makes sense. Like, you don't want to put all your eggs on the Dragapult basket in case, like, Ally Switch does come out, so splitting your damage works here, but if we don't get fully paired and hit Will-O-Wisp, we are in very good shape. Let's see. And their Life Orb, too. Nice, and we hit Will-O-Wisp. Okay, fantastic. Yeah, turn 1 could have gone on a lot worse. Like, if they just Tailwind Hailstormed into the Dragapult, that could have been pretty bad. So now this is pretty interesting, because I can use Endeavor with Lycanroc. Yeah, alright, I think I'm down for that. I'll beat up into Grimmsnarl and Endeavor into it. Okay, let's think this through. I could switch Dragapult out right now so I get a beat up later on, right? Like, it's pretty easy to switch this out into Cobalion. I could also switch out into T-Tar. Max Hailstorm coming out seems likely. Tyranitar's not that important. The whole point of T-Tar is to enable Lycanroc, right? Okay, I'm actually down to switch out and Endeavor here into Grim. Because I think now it's all about the Cobalion late game, and if I conserve Dragapult, that allows me to potentially get a beat up off into the Cobalion, which is a really big deal. So we get T-Tar out, which is sweet. There's no Sucker Punch from Grim. Endeavor should take it down to its 1 HP. Alright, nice. Lycanroc finally gets Endeavor off throughout all these games. There's Max Hailstorm. Yep. Into the T-Tar slot. I might lose both Pokemon. No, I don't think I fit into a Spirit Break here, actually. Let's see. If I thought Dragapult was going to outspeed Grimmsnarl, I could have just stayed in. The Spirit Break KO? Actually, no, it probably does, right? Ooh, okay. So they get a double KO. I don't know if that was worth it for me then. Yeah. So the question is, does Life Orb Mamoswine knock out Dragapult? Probably does. T-Wave is a very good way to deal with the strat. Although, no, if I stayed in, I still would have gotten, like, if, the thing is, if I actually just led Dragapult Cobalion, which is what I did. If I just went beat up Steel Spike turn 1, it actually would have worked out pretty well for us, because, like, they didn't knock out the Dragapult, so it was interesting in the end that they kind of split the damage the way they did. They bring out Urshifu. Okay. It's fighting Urshifu. I do think Ally Switch is probably just our best play here. Like, I'm down to max... Oh, Airstream. Does Airstream KO? Because otherwise I kind of want to Knuckle this turn. Okay, well, we do have Sleep type attack bonus on Max Knuckle, right? It's pretty close in terms of damage. Okay, I'm just gonna Knuckle here, and I'll go for Ally Switch. We could go for like Will-O-Wisp or Breaking Swipe, but I don't really feel like I get that much value there. And even though Ally Switch on support Dragapult is like pretty common, my opponent still has to make the prediction into it, right? And it's pretty hard to, because it's like it synergizes really well with the Cobalion, right? Because if you go for Wicked Blow or Hailstorm and a Dragapult, well, Cobalion actually resists both of those. So I think, yeah, since we're paralyzed, I think this is our best play. If we weren't paralyzed, I would have been willing to just go for a beat up or even a Will-O-Wisp onto Urshifu. Okay, we're going to get the Knuckle off. Wow. Okay, so we didn't need to Airstream yet. Was that a crit? I don't think it does that much, but it is sashed anyway, right? Oh, although actually the crit does matter, because I don't think we would have brought it down to its sash without it, and now I just get a free KO onto it, essentially. Yeah, and they close combat into that slot and Max Quake. Nice. This is why, like, Ally Switch on support Dragapult is just really, really good as an option, honestly. That's why you see it a lot on, like, the Colossal teams that feature support Dragapult as well. So, yeah. The main thing here was getting the burn on Mamoswine turn 1, but if my opponent just went T-Wave and Hailstorm into Dragapult turn 1, we would have been in really, really bad shape, to be honest. Because I wouldn't have gotten the burn off, and then Mamoswine would just be in a prime position to sweep us. So, yeah, T-Wave was a really nice move for them to have. I was only like, it's been so long since I've seen T-Wave, even though it's not even that uncommon. I just expect, like, Max, or sorry, I expect Fake Tear, it's not Fake Tear, Scary Face a little bit more frequently, but that's why you use T-Wave over Scary Face, because if they only had Scary Face, you can't use that against Dragapult because of Clear Body. So, yeah, but now Cobalion should just cleanly sweep the game. Like I said, Cobalion looked really good in Team Preview here, which is why I was willing to switch it out, but I do think giving up 2 Pokemon as quickly as I did probably wasn't, like, the best thing for us. But now we can just Breaking Swipe and Max Steel Spike into Mamoswine. My opponent basically has no damage into Cobalion at this point in the game. It was only going to ever come from Rotom-H or Mamoswine, which is once again why I wanted to burn the Mamoswine. But I'm trying to think, like, what my safest play is if, you know, now knowing they have Thunder Wave on Grimmsnarl. Honestly, maybe it's leading T-Tar plus Lycanroc. No, I don't like that too much. T-Tar just gets one-shot by Life Orb Max Quake, I think, so I don't think that's worth it. Grim Grimmsnarl. I mean, we do have Whimsicott. No, I don't think that really offers us much either. And I don't like Spectra either, because that can get paralyzed. I guess we could have just stayed in with Cobalion, but like I was expecting them to go for the speed control onto the Cobalion. But yeah, T-Wave Hailstorm, I think, wouldn't have definitively won them the game, but it would have put them in like a really fantastic spot. We got a little bit lucky with that crit onto the Urshifu as well, but I think Cobalion had enough in this end game, especially because they brought Rillaboom. That actually would have negated the damage that they do from Earthquake via Mamoswine. So yeah. This was just Cobalion having a very solid matchup, honestly. Nothing let threaten it too much outside of like maybe Rotom-H and Mamoswine, but obviously the downside of both Rotom-H and Mamoswine is that they also take a lot of super effective damage from Cobalion. Those Goggles, Rotom, Miracle Seed, Rillaboom, Focus Sash, Urshifu, Life Orb, Mamo, Wiki, Fini, and then Babiri, Grim. Babiri, yes. So no dual screens, and like, I mean, once again, this is why Grimmsnarl is such a tricky Pokemon to play with, or play against, right? Because it gets such a wide tool, or wide set of tools that I normally, when I see it, I expect dual screens, but there are a lot of different sets, Trick and Eject Button, for example. And then, yeah, this set, for example, yeah, Fake Seer, Scary Face, Thunder Wave, like full support, but no screens. Even, you know, Sucker Punch, Grimmsnarl, whether or not it has Fake Out or not is also a big question mark, so you certainly have a lot of options, and in the end, they actually had both Scary Face and Thunder Wave. So yeah, I guess their idea was, hey, just like slow down Dragapult. But the thing is, yeah, honestly, oh wait, because they have Babiri on this. Ah, okay. So I see what their game plan was, where it's like, okay, even if I stayed in with Cobalion, yes, I'd probably get a Steel Spike off, and then I get beat up off after the Steel Spike. But then the subsequent turn, what you could do is Scary Face into the Cobalion slot, and then just use another Max Quake to knock it out. That makes a lot of sense. So, yeah, glad I switched out, but things could have gone really poorly if they ended up clicking Hailstorm into Dragapult. So, fortunately for us, that did not end up happening, but cool team for sure from my opponent. So, let's just look for our next game here. All right, next match here, and a pretty cool team. Rotom, Porygon-Z, Incin, Whimsicott, Lando, and Lele. So, we're both pretty fast-paced teams. Cobalion's pretty solid here, right? I like leading Whimsicott here. I'm thinking Whimsicott's Spectrier. Spectrier does a lot of damage across the board. Double Intimidate also doesn't bode super well for Cobalion, I think. So Whim Spectrier. T-Tar Lycanroc. I don't think Dragapult makes much sense here. Although, actually, since Lando is one of their bigger Dynamax threats, Will-O-Wisp-ing it is actually pretty valuable. Huh, to bring Cobalion or not. I'm down for T-Tar Lycanroc, especially because we have pretty much never really used Lycanroc, and Lycanroc's just so much better when you have Tyranitar, especially because my opponent's team is... One thing to note is that they have no rock resist, right? So, like, theoretically, we could Dynamax Lycanroc in this game. Theoretically. I think I'm leaning towards maxing Spectre, but there are some lead combos in which we probably have to play it a little bit different because they do have enough, like, in Threaten Whimsicott and Deny Me Tailwind turn 1, i.e. Fake Out plus, like, Instant PZ, for example. If they go Instant PZ, what do? I could Helping Hand Max Quake. Or Helping Hand Max Strike. Ah, but they might have Dark Pulse. Okay, they go Whimsicott Landorus. So this is what I was saying, right? Dragapult is actually pretty interesting into this just because it can Will-O-Wisp the Landorus. But I'm okay with this, I think. What do I want to do turn 1? Do I even want a Tailwind? I have Cobaberry on the Whimsicott. So I almost want to stagger my Tailwind, go for a Dazzling Gleam, Max Phantasm, like KO Whimsicott. They go for Tailwind, Max Airstream. We have Cobaberry, we survive. And then Tailwind the next turn ourselves. Single turn of extra Tailwind really matters a lot in a matchup like this too. So I think I'm down for this. I guess it's a little bit risky because they could crit onto Whimsicott. Or I don't know, if you're like Life Orb, Landorus, maybe Max Airstream does enough to knock out Whimsicott by itself. I'm not sure. So let's see. The goal is to ideally just eliminate Whimsicott and get extra turns of Tailwind relative to my opponent. Now we have Tyranitar and Lycanroc in the back. How do I feel about those? Pretty good. The nice thing is that it synergizes well with Spectre, because Spectre can obviously drop your opponent's defense. And so, yeah, the goal is to get some defense drops. Yeah, I don't know. It's a little bit risky to not Tailwind turn 1, because if Whimsicott goes down for any reason, this is kind of a disaster. Yep, so they're maxing Landorus as well. Best case, I don't know. They max Quick Spectre here. And what we can do is use Spectre to target around the Landorus, pick up 3 KOs, and then leave Landorus for Tyranitar and Lycanroc in the late game. I'm also curious how fast the Landorus is. It's probably going to be faster than Tyranitar, but Tyranitar is max speed, and sometimes people like running really bulky Landorus. So, I'm not sure. Yeah, I don't think Cobalion would have been super good here as a lead. Ah, that's a really nice play. Although I guess it's fine, because I knock out your Whimsicott, right? So it's like, even if you're knocking out my Whimsicott, neither of us get Tailwind up, and that actually benefits me more, because our team is faster than our opponents. Although if you're making that play, I really feel like it's a max Quake going onto Spectre, unless you know about this team. Because otherwise, normally you should assume Focus Sash on Whimsicott. So let's see what they go for. Okay. Oh, is Airstream into Spectre? Oh. I'm sorry. What? That's a one-hit K. I know it's Life Orb, but... Whoa. Okay, I need to learn that calc. I did not think there was ever a chance we'd faint turn 1 to that. Really nice find by my opponent. It's still winnable, so let's not panic. Definitely still winnable. I want to know that damage calc. I had no idea that could one-shot. Now, Spectre is not exactly the bulkiest Pokemon, so maybe I shouldn't be that... Yeah, oh gosh. That is, I think, a guaranteed KO with Helping Hand. Shee. Okay. Even if you're Jolly, yep. Jolly, max attack, Life Orb, Helping Hand, max Airstream does exactly 100%. Alright, this is still winnable, though. Let's bring out Lycanroc because it has Focus Sash. Oh, that is... Okay. So the main upside is that we did get a defense drop. I think it's too far to come back from, quite frankly. I can obviously, like, Tailwind Rock Slide this turn. What do you do if you're my opponent, actually? I'd max Airstream Whimsicott, maybe? Maybe I should have brought Tyranitar out? No, I would have just lost both Pokemon then, right? Thing is, I could endure, but to accomplish what? I'm honestly kind of down to Rock Slide, because if we flinch Tapu Lele, it gives us a flinch chance as well. Yeah, I think we're too far behind to try to win off going for something like Endure right now. Anyway, wow, that is a really good calc to know. Spectre gets one shot by Helping Hand. And we miss Lele. Okay, that's probably going to be game. Okay, they do split their damage, though, so this is critical. I think this actually gives us a shot. Man, if we had actually hit Rock Slide on Lele... It still one-shots Whimsicott. Nah, I think we're probably done for anyway, then. Well, I guess you do bring us down to 1 HP. Assuming you Psychicked here into Lycanroc. Ah, that's actually a really unfortunate dodge. Maybe it doesn't make a difference, though. Let me go for Gleam. Okay, that's smart. Covers for a switch-in. I don't really think we have any outs here, unless their Landorus is slower. For some reason, relative to Tyranitar. But they got 2 Airstream boosts, so they should just outspeed us, I think. What's my out here? Assuming Landorus is faster, do I have any outs? If they Max Quake Tyranitar, the answer is no. But if I endured, the answer is actually yes. So I could endure with Lycanroc and Rock Slide. If they target Tyranitar, I always lose the game anyway, right? I have no way to win if they just launch Max Quake into T-Tar. So at this point, I need them to mess up a little bit. Okay, so I'm going to Rock Slide, and I'm... Oh, I could Endeavor. No, I think Endure is better here. I don't know. If we're actually faster with Tyranitar, I could have just double Rock Slided. But with Life Orb Landorus on my opponent's team, there's no way we're faster, right? Yeah, okay. But let's see. Did they max quick the right slot? Yeah, they did. Okay, well played. Wow. Wow. That is a very good damage count to know. That's a guaranteed KO onto Dynamax Spectre every time. So, nice helping hand play turn 1. Really, really well done by my opponent. I just didn't see that coming at all. Yeah, actually, it's funny because I even, like, well, we even have helping hand on our Whimsicott, but yeah, I just... Wait, hold on. Lycanroc can actually still win this because of Endure, right? We would need a lot of Rock Slide flinches. It's too late, I think. I just haven't really utilized Endure Lycanroc super well in my time with this team, unfortunately. And if we had hit the Lele initially, 1, it would have given us a flinch chance, and 2, I think we'd be in potentially a more winnable position. They switch out Incineroar, maybe? That's an interesting switch. Why make that switch? If anything, I feel like Landorus would be the one you'd want to switch out. Because I just got free damage onto Rotom there. They're probably scarfed, right? We need a double flinch now, I think. This is why I was like, yeah, if we had hit that first Rock Slide on Lele... No, I don't even think it's a 2-hit KO on Lele, though, so... Even if we had hit that Rock Slide, I think we still needed some help to win this one. I'm so sad, because it's like such a good position to Endeavor, but I needed a partner next to Lycanroc. I didn't really utilize Lycanroc super well in our games with it. And we don't hit the Rotom either. Yeah, Rock Slide wasn't a 2-hit KO on Lele, so we needed multiple flinches, basically. Okay. I mean, the main thing here is that this game was going to be really hard to win after the beginning. So just really good find by my opponent, and that's a beautiful way of how you can just win the game in 1 turn, essentially. So really strong play on turn 1. And I didn't feel super threatened by it with Spectre out, quite frankly. But yeah, it's just the helping hand, because if you take away the helping hand, at most, even if you're adamant max attack, it still is a lot of damage. It's 73 to 86%. So helping hand basically takes that to the next level and guarantees the knockout, which is, yeah, quite powerful. But that was great execution by my opponent. Yeah, I don't know, like, if I led Cobalion, the same thing would have happened, right? I would have just got hit by helping hand max quick. I just, like, yeah, kind of slept on Life Orb Landorus plus helping hand. I think mainly because, like, so many Landoruses are often Assault Vest as well. So I just didn't really think my Maximum would go down in 1 hit. And it's like, even if Spectre only gets 1 more attack off in that game, that should be enough for us to win the match, right? Because it can just obliterate Tapu Lele or Rotom-H. So the key thing here is that I only got 1 move off with it rather than even 2. And that was kind of the difference maker. But yeah, nice execution by my opponent, so kudos to them. Anyway, that is going to be it for this one. So thank you so much as always for watching our Rank. If you enjoyed, please share support by leaving a like in the video. I really appreciate it. And I'll catch you all next time. All right, peace.